Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Man United Agenda. And it is Friday night, and is it deadline day, D Day, takeover? We're not sure what's going on, but as always, we're joined by a lovely panel of Bath Time and the Monday. Guys, welcome. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Man United Agenda. And it is a strange feeling, 2 shows in one day, and it's a Friday, and I'm actually Bath Time with Bath Time.
Yeah.
Bath Time, how you doing, sir? It's been a long time.
It's been ages, Solo. It's been like 6 or 7 months since I've had the pleasure of listening to whatever it is that you say about Fred and things. I'm really excited about it.
Oh, brilliant. It is amazing. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I know you're missing Love Island to, join the panel tonight, but I'm pretty certain you're recording it, so it's okay. You get the, the nitty-gritty of it later on. And a Monday as well, Love Island's back, but listen, it's been a long time as well. How you doing? You all right?
I'm good, man. And speaking of Love Island, I mean, you look younger. You look like you could be a contestant on Love Island or something. People are asking, where's he been? Where's he been? And that was an option as well. Someone put it out there. Maybe he's going to be a contestant on Love Island. That's why he's gone missing. Who knows? But I'm not going to say Rep. Solo, you do look younger. I don't know what you've been up to, creaming your skin or getting some sunshine or being relaxed or something, but you look fantastic, man. And that's no homo. You look like you're 21 again. So whatever you're doing, I want your secrets.
New haircut.
Standard.
New haircut and cocoa butter. That's all it takes. That's all it is. That's all it is. But no, yeah, it's one of them ones where it's been such a long time. I've been studying and everything else, and thank you guys for the support. You guys have been absolutely amazing, literally taking control of the channel and everything whilst I've been studying. And now I'm back for a little bit, so here to help support the channel until the next venture pops up for myself. So as always, guys, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel as well. They're meant to be in a 4th person with us tonight, but unfortunately, due to circumstances, there's only 3 of us on instead. But Amanda, would you mind leading away with some of these comments? Because it is Friday night, and it's that Friday night feeling. It's about 23 outside still. It's hot.
It's been a lovely day, hasn't it? There's more to come. Eddie Football Waffle, go and subscribe to his channel. He says, big up Man United Agenda. Come on, Sheikh. Evict these scumlords. Big up all in the chat and smash the like. Thank you, Eddie. Big up to Rebel as well, the Irishman. He's on vacation right now. Perfect week to be off because it's beautiful over here. I don't know what's like an island. Yeah, the Glazers, geek bags, out the clubs with extreme malice and dirty, rotten WANKERS. King Dino, how you doing? He says, evening, everyone. Are we getting close to evicting these leeches? Oh, this is what it's all about. Good evening from Bill Badger. How you doing, Bill Badger? Good evening all the way from Ireland. It's Robbie Norman. The heavies are in.
Robbie, hope your hand's all right, mate. I know you hurt yourself.
And King Dino's asking about Jay. He's missing from the stream. He probably thinks he's gone to watch Ireland.
Love Ireland, yeah.
And Bill Badger saying Solo looks mid-20ish, doesn't he? He does, doesn't he?
Yeah, if only.
Disgusting.
rolling back the years. Now, guys, I haven't really and truly spoke to you guys for a while now, and it's regarding obviously the takeover. Sheikh, basically the information we got from newspapers and outlets and everything this week was he's put a final bid on the table, and it's almost like a take it or leave it deadline by today. But Bath Time, do you think it's a case of take it or leave it, or is that offer just sitting there and he's almost like not get involved in this? How can I put it? The ignorance of the Glazers. That's the best way I can put it. The ignorance of the Glazers, thinking they can get more money for what than Manchester United's actually worth, because the PSV president today, apparently he's the one who is driving him to take over Manchester United. Now, if he gets involved, he's very serious. They don't want to lose this bid.
Well, I mean, there's quite a lot going on, Solo, and so in these cases, you always go to what's tried and tested. The Qataris, or at least what's being reported, strike me as moving like idiots. To be honest, I literally cannot believe what I'm reading in the papers and seeing online about their bid. It's laughable. What Jim Radcliffe is doing is a very, very standard shares and cash option. It's something that happens in 90% of takeovers, and it's beneficial to shareholders because so for example, if the Glazers were to take half the cash and keep half the shares, and then they are bought out 3 or 4 years later, that tells the markets that the people buying are serious and have a plan because the owners are keeping at least half of it in their shares. This is really standard stuff. You'll find this in any takeover. What the Qataris seem to have done is that they seem to have circumvented the Rain Group and are trying to use back channels to purchase the club, where their sort of value, their bids are coming in under what Jim Radcliffe is valuing the club at, and this is nonsensical. I mean, how do you expect to buy an apple if someone offers 50p for it, and you come in and say, I'm going to give it a great home. It's got a lovely bowl. There's bananas there, but I'm going to offer you 45p. You're not going to take that deal. It's nonsense what they're doing. But then again, we don't know everything, and we don't have a huge amount of details on them. But that would be my reading of what I've seen from the last week.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Bath Time. Now, Armando, with that, what Bath Time, to touch on what Bath Time's saying as well, obviously we know about the Radcliffe deal, and I know a lot of United fans don't really and truly agree with Radcliffe coming in because of the A shares and the B shares as well, where Radcliffe, the Glazers, 21%, they still have a bigger influence on what's going on around Man United than actually what the Radcliffe would have, even though he's got 51% of this stake in the club. Now, feasible, when you look at it in another way, you can look at it and think to yourself, like what Bath Time's saying, they are going through back channel, the Qatar's going through back channels to try and get the club. But from the club itself, and from what Qatar is saying, they're giving a strategy where there's nothing come from Jim Radcliffe about strategy of what he wants to do with Manchester United.
Yeah, that's true. I think, but what Bath Time touched on is a good point, because a lot of people are getting outraged by the Glazers still being involved. So it might be a stay like after 3-4 years that the Glazers are finding out of here, the way things are going, and the way he's saying, Bath Time said 90% of the deals are usually done like this, taking shares and then taking a percentage of shares and then obviously buying these guys out eventually. And I think that benefits the Glazers. They're very difficult to get rid of. That's clear. That's been clear. And I think for the Sheikh as well, I did hear about the PSG owner or president coming in and sort of saying that he's involved in that deal as well. But I think you're going to lose credibility, because if you say to someone, look, if you don't, do this by this date, I'm going to do A, B, and C and pull out, and you don't do that, you lose your credibility, I believe. And anything for me, I've always wanted Qataris in, because I felt, okay, they're going to buy out the whole club. I don't know about this business, but it seems to me, okay, they're going to buy the whole club. They've definitely got money, and they would invest. And they've said some beautiful things about what they do with the fruit bowl analogy that Bath Time dropped. But I also think, well, there's been so many deadlines. I mean, a few Fridays ago, we were in a similar situation where we were saying final bids coming in, offers will be made, and I thought it would have been done and dusted. But today, I was expecting big news, an announcement to be made, and still we're talking about, it might be delayed and everything else. And now I've just lost respect for the Qataris. I don't know how business is done, but I just think, boy, you're looking like a chief right now. You're getting mugged off. You said you're going to say the final bid, and it should be enough or whatever. Just bid what you need to bid. That's going to take the deal, get the deal over the line. Because now the fans are getting frustrated with Qataris, and Qataris had the edge, I believe, because they wanted to buy the whole thing out without and not have the Glazers involved. So we're at the stage now where I would like to hear, not just because I'd like to hear the opinion of others, because I don't really know what's going on, how this works. Great to have Bath Time on, by the way, bro. That was a good insight you just gave to me. I'm learning a bit about this, but I want to hear what other people say about this, because it's still dragging on. And this is worse than the Frankie de Jong story. It's dragged on more than that. No one would have expected that. That was there was that film with the Fast and Furious. There's been 10, I believe, 10 Fast and Furious. Drag it on and on. It's boring. No one watches it anymore. I don't believe it unless you're a big fan. You know, I couldn't watch it. I haven't even seen one of those shitty films. But
I've watched all of them.
This saga, well, kiddie stuff. This saga is completely. You can make a movie about this because since November this has been going on, and I just think it's a load of bollocks. Excuse me. Yeah. You know, I don't like to swear, but I'm at the stage of I think it's a load of bollocks. And and I don't know what's going on, but when it's done, once it's all done and dusted, and we have a new owner or whatever, we're going to look back and say, do you remember in June when we were talking about A, B, and C, when really this was going on? We never know the truth. So I'm just going to sit back now, and I don't want to talk about it or make predictions or copy quotes from the Times, all these credible things, because no one seems to know what's going on.
Yeah. And again, like what you just said there on Monday, I know you said obviously the Qatar is sort of making it a long process, but I don't think it's anything to do with the Qatar. I just think it's the greed of the Glazers. It's the greediness of the Glazers. I never said the
Qataris making a long process. I think it is a long process. I think Qataris now got fed up and said or announced it like big time.
I think both of them,
by Friday, it's the cut-off date, and if nothing's done by Friday, it seems that we're going to be out. Yeah. Now they're going to. If they don't get out of here now, they're going to lose credibility in my eyes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So they're not dragging it on. They want us to end it this Friday. Like it's now what, nearly 8:00 on Friday evening, and we still don't know what's going on.
But I think as well, Bartham, you might agree with me as well. It's obviously what the issue with the whole takeover and what I'm learning from the takeover is. Jim Ratcliffe has come in, and when he originally went in for Chelsea, he put a plan of action through what he was going to do at Chelsea. I was going to redo the stadium, I was going to put this away, I'm going to do that way, I'm going to do that. At Manchester United, so Jim Ratcliffe's come in, and all he said is, the Glazers are nice people. I'm going to just buy 51% of the stake of Manchester United, but I'm going to be almost like a B-class share, and they're going to be the A-class. So technically speaking, with them having 21%, they still have majority of say of what's going on with Manchester United still. That's what I'm gathering from what I'm reading. I'm not sure, but it's reports. Now, with the Rain Group, and part of it is, it's almost like they're creating a bidding war. The longer this bidding war continues, the more money the Rain Group will make from it. Bath time, right or wrong?
I don't know. What I can tell you, Solo, is that between 1998 and 2008, Jim Radcliffe's Ineos acquired 22 businesses, which is over 2.5 a year. The man knows what he's doing in terms of like taking over a company and the process and things like that. I would suspect that the Glazers, there's about 6 of them. That like it's sort of like the Murdoch family. There's just loads of like random brothers and sisters just messing about in the background. I would suspect that there's quite a lot of internal division, and you have to remember that it was their father that brought the football club, and that's quite that even. You know, we all hate the Glazers, etc., etc. That's still quite a big thing. We can all understand that it's their father's legacy, and there will be times where they're wobbling over it. But with all this talk about shares and things, I'd be absolutely stunned if Jim Radcliffe is spending 5 or 6 billion on a football club and isn't going to be in charge of voting. It's nonsense to think that he isn't. The sticking points will be like, do the Glazers, who gets a board on the seat? That's normally what takeovers are essentially about, is that the CEO gets fired, you bring in your own man to run the board, and then it's the makeup of the board that can take a long time to be sorted out. So I suspect that the Glazers are being a bit like Daniel Levy and just changing what they want every 5 minutes. But Radcliffe is an experienced and like hard-nosed negotiator who's taken over a hell of a lot of businesses. I think he probably knows what he's doing, and he's not going to get a bad deal.
Yeah. Again, I'm going to flip now the script now. Monday, on the Sir Jim Radcliffe, I think you guys have discussed it, but there's more coming out from tabloids and bits and pieces regarding there's a protest in Nice to get rid of Sir Jim Ratcliffe, because since he's been there, where they were finishing Champions League, all of a sudden now they haven't finished in Champions League spots since he's been in charge of Nice. There's fan process, and also players are coming out criticising the ownership of Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Now, I'm not saying I don't want Sir Jim Ratcliffe as the owner of Man United, but for me, my opinion would be is full sell at Manchester United. That's what I want, a full sell at Manchester United. Now, what's your thoughts on, people protesting against someone who is looking to come in and buy Man United, who have only spent, I think, is about 90 million in the period of time he's been at Nice?
Let me say this: you have to remember, Nice are not a huge club. If they're getting Champions League football, I don't know about that. I remember Patrick Vieira was managing them, and he sort of came mid to top table, which was decent for them. So I've heard this said before that they were getting Champions League football. I haven't seen Champions League.
They were Europe and Champions. Yeah, they were after 4 years. Yeah, they've been in Champions League, I think, once and 3 times Europa League.
All right, so once,
and then before when
hold on, let's get this right, because I heard this said the other day, and I didn't want to jump in because I didn't know. I still don't know, but I can't remember seeing him in the Champions League. And I remember Patrick. What got my knowledge to Nice was, obviously it's a nice part of the world, near Monaco, and I think, okay.
Have you been there both time?
No.
Okay, it's on your bucket list now because I said so.
Well, it's a beautiful part of the world, and then so you always think, like with Marseille and Monaco, those areas. Oh, it'd be lovely to play football there, in that region. And we know Patrick Vieira. They come to my attention. Patrick Vieira managed them, and he got sacked because he couldn't get them too high. Then, if I look at their squad, they got Aaron Ramsey. They had Kasper Schmeichel as well. They've got some good players, and you expect them to be doing well. What's that got to do with the ownership? They got good players. Whether it's 90 million spent, 90 million in the French league is a good amount, I'm sure, because Monaco don't spend that much, and they're top side. They're one of the top sides. They sell players. They bring in players, develop players, and sell them. So Nice, as far as I'm concerned, if they're complaining, I always think, I don't know the backstory, don't know what's really going on, but it's to do with the football side of things. I don't think it's to do with the owners, because the owners have invested. I look at their team sheet, I look at their squad. Oh, they've got some good players there. They should do all right. If they're not doing all right, then speak to the manager first. So, but then because it's the ownership now, and he's like with the Glazers as well. Man United haven't done well for 10 years. It's the Glazers, even though the Glazers have spent 1 billion over the last 10 years. People won't like this, but I'm going to say it. This is why I sometimes think, hold on a minute, we've made some bad decisions maybe with manager. I don't know if managers. Louis van Gaal's a decent manager. Mourinho is a decent manager. Maybe David Moyes, that was Alex Ferguson's boy. But, we've had some decent managers. But there's something's going wrong, maybe perched in the wrong sort of player. There's been no plan, no process behind that. And that's the footballing side of things. Or so to blame the Glazers because they're taking dividends out of the club and whatever. I just see it as separate. They've got ownerships, yeah, but how much can the owners affect the team? If the team are doing poor, why do we point fingers at the Glazers all of a sudden? You know what I'm saying? The same with Nice fans. If they're doing poorly with a good side that they've got, where they should be, they should be achieving more with what the players they've got, then they're suddenly bypassing the management and saying, "Oh, it must be Ineos," because they see them. By the way, I was watching F1 the other day, and I saw Ineos on Mercedes, one of their sponsors. So I'm thinking, okay, they get around. They must be big. This is me, a naive guy. Don't know nothing about that side of the white side of the world. So I want to know what really and truly, before I talk on Nice, why they're complaining. They've got a good squad, and if they didn't get top 4 and Champions League, so what? They've only got 1 Champions League, as you said, in the last 4 or 5 years. So that's just standard, isn't it?
With it as well, though, Monday, when Sir Jim Ratcliffe came into Nice, there was suggestion of, he did a whole speech saying, we need to compete with PSG. Within 3 weeks of him saying that, all of a sudden, PSG came in and took their manager.
Yeah,
so the manager...
Sorry. I remember when Sven Goran Eriksson came to Man City, when they started to get their money and everything else. It's taken them a long time to get to that stage.
Yeah, and also, if you look at Emma's comment here as well,
Nice is literally sinking after Jim came in. They were on the up and were doing something before him. I don't remember them doing anything. I remember Patrick Vieira, like I said, being there.
So apologies on Monday. 2 Champions League and 2 Europa League.
Yeah, but Europa League's not good enough.
It's a competition. If Man United won it this season...
but the word is everyone was saying, not just yourself,
But
but the word is, everyone was saying, oh, they were always in the Champions League, and now they're not.
But with the season, Monday, I'm looking at, they finished third in the league. Yeah.
When?
Hold on 1 second. They finished third. Hold on. I need to get it because at the moment I'm looking at the stats. I'm trying to get all the stats up. Third, and so far this season, for the last 2 years, they finished 8th, 7th, and 9th.
For the last 3 years?
Yeah, since he's taken over, yeah.
Okay.
So it's a big drop off.
All right. Maybe, but they got the guy Thuram in midfield. They got Castor Schmeichel. They got Aaron Ramsey. They're purchasing some good players. So isn't that to do with the manager? Isn't that to do with the players not being bothered or kicking back in Nice because it's a lovely part of the world? I don't know.
Their captain as well on Monday. They got on a free transfer a few years ago.
I'll tell you who they are.
40-year-old captain.
Yeah, but he's a great defender, great centre back. He used to play for Bayern Munich and what's his name? The Brazilian guy. I forget his name now. Berner. Where his name is, with the hair. But they got some good players, players, yeah. So I don't know what's going on there, and I don't think it should be related to Ineos or what's going on with Jim Ratcliffe. Maybe it's a footballing thing. Leicester been fighting for top 4 for the last couple of seasons. They just got relegated. What, are they going to blame the board for that? Because, they were praising their owners not so long ago.
But I think as well with Leicester City on Monday, there's a different in comparison. Since the owner passed away in that tragic crash, the son came in charge, and then that's when everything went wrong.
So are they ripping our Leicester fans? We know Chris from Leicester Till I Die. I've never heard him ripping the ownership. He's talking about.
You won't hear it. I don't think you would hear people doing it.
Saying, "Oh well, he hasn't been given enough funds or whatever."
He hasn't though.
Do you think that Leicester side, like Nice, do you think that Leicester side should be getting relegated with the players they've got? I'll just throw it out there.
I think Bath Town can do it. Can I just throw 2 things in before Bath Town come with that?
I can't talk more on this regarding.
Okay, go on, Bath Town, go on.
All right, it's quite a lot has been said there. Just quickly to deal with Leicester. With the Leicester situation, I think they won the FA Cup with the Sun, and COVID. They're in the travel business. COVID hit them hard, and they didn't have the funds in place. This is also true with French football, where French football is bankrupt. They lost a TV deal, all the money went out, COVID and things came in. None of this has got anything to do with ownership or whatever, and people are unhappy. But also, it's like, what's the point in pumping money into the French league with Paris Saint-Germain? You're not going to compete. You have to do it a different way. And maybe they are doing it a different way. I personally don't see Nice as a sort of historical name. You look at like Marseille or Lyon under Paul Le Guen as better things. So on Monday, talking about the Glazers spending the money. They did spend the money. We've spent more than Man City in the last 10 years. The 2 problems have been that they appointed Ed Woodward, who didn't really understand the world of football. And that is on them. Like you need to get proper football people in, but you would think with Charlton and Ferguson on the board, like literally on the board, that they would have had a bigger say on things. But it's more about the stadium and the facilities going downhill is the legacy of the Glazers and why they're bad owners. But I just don't think we can really sort of talk about French football and Radcliffe like operating Nice, because none of it is knowledge that we really have. It's just things that we've read. There's no real insight from anyone sort of coming. We can just look at historical things. Nice are not a big club. They've signed some good players. French football is bankrupt and has one of the world's richest clubs with some of the best players in the world. It's a farce of a league. And I don't think that it equates to the Premier League or what Radcliffe's ownership of Manchester United would look like.
Thank
you. There you go, Solo. That's my voice.
I'll take everything on board.
That is exactly what I was trying to say. Thanks, Bath Time.
My pleasure.
I'll take everything on board, but as I said, it's almost like it's going to be a tough one, because for me, my whole sort of thing with the ownership of Manchester United, whoever comes in Man United, I just want them to sort of help Manchester United as a football club progress, catch up with Man City. Because at the moment, Man City are a beast. And that's the problem with it. So if we can't catch up Man City, and we're about 3 or 4 years behind, easily, probably maybe a lot longer. I don't know what you guys agree. Probably 4 or 5 years behind Man City right now. OMONDI?
No, I don't think so. We done a show yesterday saying what's going to take to catch Man City. If we, like you said, let's go back to what we just said. Last 10 years, we spent more than Man City. It's just that the decision making was poor. So if we want to close that gap, I think we could do it in a season. I don't in this window. If we got 4 or 5 decent quality players to fit Eric Ten Hag's game plan, I think we could do something in the league. I don't see it's impossible. All you have to do is you play Man City twice. The rest of the other teams, you just have to go out there and hand out some whoopings, like Arsenal did. Arsenal stepped up. They were beating everyone. They were just walking through teams for majority of the season
Until they bottled it.
Of course. So I think if we got 5 or 6 players, as we discussed yesterday in the show, and I like your list, by the way, Bath Time. It was a good list you put together. But if we've got these players in, I reckon we can close that gap quite fast. Like I'm saying, I revert back to when Robin Van Persie came in, he closed the gap because he scored goals. We get Harry Kane, for example, he could get extra goals that we needed to win games this season, and we could start walking through teams like that again. And then we just have to worry about playing Man City twice, as you do. And we beat them already this season with a poor in our first season. So I don't think we're that far off. It's about stepping up and making good decisions regarding the team and buying players and the tactics today. We've got a good manager for one. We've got a decent core of players now. We've got good youths coming through. And all we need now is good transfer deals, I feel, to get in some experienced players to come in to better what we've got at the moment. And that will cross us over the line and close the gap. Because you can look, we on the Man United agenda, most shows, all you fans out there, we watch most games. Now, some games you made stupid errors and stupid mistakes. Some games you lost badly. But I think you can turn it around with tweaking little things by bringing better players in, and these mistakes won't be happening, and we will get the points. We were 11 points off Arsenal. They were like 5-6 points, or I don't know, off the so what, 15, 17 points. I reckon we could close that gap quite easily in one season, bro.
Well, time. You reckon we could close the season in that period of time? Well, OMONDI is very confident in doing it, but it's the players. Jesus, we need players.
Absolutely not in one season for me. We could challenge, but I'm actually more interested to know what the comments are saying, to be perfectly honest.
Okay, let's go in the comments then. Let's go comments because there's tons of comments. Guys, if you're new to the channel, please give us a subscribe. If you're not new, just give us a like. I recognize some people from another show I done earlier who's in the chat as well, guys. Welcome to the agenda.
Abby, how you doing, man? He says, needs Sheikh Jasim to come to Man United, and United would be better. He's saying, want to say hi to Case later. He said, sorry I missed this. Bath time, this for you. How do you feel about the Glazers remaining as a part of the Man United ownership?
Necessary evil at the moment. Not overjoyed, but it's how business works. Like, it doesn't matter what I feel about it. It's just the way it's the way of the world. I can't change it.
Yeah. You made some good points earlier about that. King Dino saying the Glazers make my blood boil. I couldn't imagine trying to do a serious business deal with them. I don't think any of us would be able to.
Do you know what? Yeah, I don't judge people. I don't judge people, yeah. But today I was watching Sky Sports News, and it's when they're walking through, because obviously the news broke to say that the PSG sort of, the guy who owned look after PSG, he was called by the Glazers to sort of have a conversation with them. And it's almost like when they're walking, you see that little ponytail, the bald head, but the little ponytail on the back in it. I was just sitting there thinking, come on, man, just get a scissors and just.
There's a guy
you can't take them seriously.
Paul Heyman. He runs your
yes, Paul Heyman.
When you're going bald, let it go. I'm going bald, and that's why you always see me wearing hats and all that kind of thing.
Let it go, man.
Let it go. I'm like the Paul Heyman of the Man United agenda. But the Glazers are really bad at it because he don't even wear a hat. Wear a big stiletto hat or something, man. I don't know.
Let it go, man.
It's ridiculous. So Bill Badger is saying how nice it would be sitting around, feet up, waiting for some billions for something you never bought in the first place. How real scum live, eh? How big's the apple? That's to you, your analogy for the fruit bowl thing. You said
it's a big apple.
Yeah, a big apple. Isn't Renos? Is that just explain? That's a New York banking system that's running this deal. Is
the
it?
Rain Group?
Yes.
Rain Group. Sorry, yeah. Just explain what that is.
To the best of my knowledge, it's a venture capitalist acquisition group, so it pulls in money from lots of investors. There'll be Qatari and Saudi money in that group, 100%, and they buy stuff and then they make a profit on it, and you get a return on your investment. Like it's literally just that. But they're very well connected. They know lots of people. They operate in financial sectors. They bought a boutique bank the other day. They're an extremely serious outfit with extreme money behind them and lots of sort of soft power.
So are they overseeing the deal, the sell? Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying?
Yeah, they're like,
selling
if you think about selling a house, they're like the letting agents.
Right. That makes sense. That makes more sense to me. King Dino, in theory, the Glazers could still have control of the club as long as they have more than 5% of the shares, as these shares are worth 10 times the votes of anyone else's shares. Bill
Yeah, that's what
Baggio
I've been
saying it's
hearing.
going to drag on and mess up Ten Hag's plans in the summer, isn't it, guys?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. It will mess up our summer transfer budget and the window itself, and Ten Hag will not be backed. And you got to remember as well, Amanda, with it, we're going to talk about transfer after this one, is this bit, but you got to think we were challenging on all fronts for all trophies in December. January transfer window open, and all we went was Shibiza and Waghorse.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Emma's saying here, it's been like this a long while. Stuff gets reported, nothing really happens, or we, the fans, just don't get to know what's really happening as well. Emma,
And can I just say to that, with that as well, though, it's, sorry guys, I'm taking up a bit of space here, but if the Glazers came out and actually did something public to all the fans and let us know exactly what's going on, even if they did it as a one-off, I think we would appreciate it more than being silent and letting the media putting these reports out, because none of us, like Bathtime said at the moment, none of us know what's going on. Not one of us know what's going on.
Regarding Nice, Emma's saying here, Nice is literally sinking after Jim came in. They're on the up and we're doing something before him. So that's the blame towards Ratcliffe. Who hires the manager? It's obviously the board. I think that was a dig at me, Emma, when I was sort of being naive, what I was saying earlier. She's also saying blame the owners. They make the final decisions, which is true. You know?
I don't think that is true.
Sorry?
I don't think that is true.
Why?
What do you think that, like, the Glazers, like when we hired like Ragnick, when we hired Ten Hag, I believe Darren Fletcher and Murtagh were responsible for interviewing them and stuff. Like, they delegate it and stuff. They're off on yachts, like looking at their ponytails and stuff.
We want to,
like, they're not
get them yachts.
Like, I mean, like, you can say that the buck stops at the top and things, but these people, like, they're not hiring Kath on reception and stuff like that. They leave it to the CEO, like any business, and that guy sorts it out.
So they're not on a yacht and they get phone calls, say, do it. They would say, I'm thinking of doing it.
You know, man, you got to do it. Just sign the contract.
Yeah, they might.
Man.
With transfers, they will do. Like they cancelled the Sancho transfer for 130 million, said it's just a ridiculous price.
Yeah.
But with the running of the club, it's Murtagh and Arnold who do it.
Okay. Let's run it through. Let's finish this up. King Dino saying they have some good experienced players, but they lack good players at their peak. So the older players, like Dante's the player I was talking about, captain 39, 30, whatever his age is now. And Emma's saying here, we have the effing Glazers in charge. We are not going to do SHIT. King Dino again is saying, we're a few good years behind City. They are super well drilled and know the game plan incredibly well. We can overtake Arsenal in the summer, but probably not City. And Bill Baggio saying here, we could if we're smart on Monday, but we're not that clever in the transfer window. Talking about how can we win the league or close the gap in that respect there. I'm going to say Big T, last comment here. He's saying, do we want our club run like PSG? Question mark. They can't buy a Champions League. Good point.
Just the last one, Emma. I can't read it completely. That one, and then we'll move on.
Emma saying here, owners are in charge of putting people in place. If it's still their fault for putting the wrong people in places, in higher places, it's always the owner's fault and their responsibility. Bath time.
Yeah, that's the buck. That's the buck stops at the top, but it's got nothing to do with them hiring the manager.
Yeah,
I'm off.
Clever Dick. Jeff is in the house as well. One of our favourites. He's the best referee in the United States of America. Hopefully we see you on the show soon, Jeff. He said, big up all. Hope you have a great weekend. On a positive note, when does the next episode of the podcast come out? Bath time?
I don't know.
Well, we'll
Do you
get one
know?
out. Yeah, I've got a list of people queuing up. My phone is like going off constantly.
It's like the Glazers, isn't it? Who's going to think it transfer? It's a transfer window.
I'm on my barge on the canal, waiting for yes or no. Anyway,
Yeah, we'll do one this week then.
Okay. Cool. As you can read there, Glazers are greedy. CUNT. Anyway.
And then you know what I love about it, yeah, is Bill Baggio actually have to spell it out. Oh, well, what's that one?
Just like the Glazers putting Woodward in place. I want to get off this, but
cool.
Solo.
Let's talk transfers. Let's talk
some transfer news.
And guys, transfer rumours at the moment. Man United are in for the Porto keeper. I did watch a show yesterday, and I did see a lot of people talking about the Porto keeper yesterday. But also, you guys got to correct me on the pronunciation of the player. Monday, I think you said it earlier. The pronunciation of the player that Brentford just signed. So Man United and Tottenham are in for the Brentford goalkeeper, but are unwilling to pay 45 million because the keeper's got 1 year left on his contract. On Monday?
Oh, well, Brentford have just signed a keeper a couple of weeks ago. That's good business. They've already, so they must
11 point something million?
Yeah, that's good business because now they can sell Raya for 40 million. I remember a few years ago, Ray used to play for Blackburn Rovers. I used to watch him. And I was told back then, this is like maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago, I was told back then that this guy's good. And even on Championship Manager, he had great stats. I used to buy him on the cheap, and he'd end up being a great goalkeeper. So Championship Manager never gets it wrong, or Player Manager, whatever they call it, Championship Manager. They never get it wrong. And Ray's come now, and now look, people looking for 40 million for him because he's played in the Premiership, proved himself to be a good keeper. A lot of managers like him because he ticks all the boxes of a modern day keeper. He's short. He's ahead of David De Gea in the Spanish tier side, isn't he? As well. I don't think he's worth 40 million, to be honest. I don't think any keeper should be worth that amount of money unless, I mean, who's the guy at Bayern Munich? I thought in the last few years, I thought he was outstanding.
Neuer.
I thought Neuer was outstanding, like as a goalkeeper. His presence, he coming out like Schmeichel, his distribution. He seemed to be like the most complete goalkeeper that I've seen in many a year. Obviously, you got Edison and Alisson in the Premier League now, and they've got this kicking distribution thing, which is really good. And I don't know who's better out of the two. Maybe Alisson's just pips it for me, but they're not. I don't know. They don't strike me as being like over £50 million. You shouldn't really spend £50 million on a goalkeeper. I don't believe because it's goalkeepers. I don't think the standard's that great, to be honest. I think Neuer is the last person that made me think, "Wow, this guy is fantastic." And beyond that, I don't know. When I see Ray or whatever his name is, clearly he's good, but I don't think he's Man United quality, to be honest. And I think, but when I'm looking out there at the market, I don't see better keepers. So I don't know who Brentford have signed. I would like to have a look at him because clearly he's going to be good because their business is so great. So I don't know what's going on with big keepers.
But I'm going to come to Bath Time and ask Bath Time as well. What is it, Reina? But apparently the keeper they signed as well. He was playing in a lower league as well about 4 or 5 years ago as well. The keeper they signed as well. So I was listening to him the other day, and he was saying it's almost like a dream come true for going and playing in the Premier League as well. So at Bath Time, Brentford keeper to United, yes or no? Is there better than him out there? Because also I would prefer, for me, is the Villa keeper. I'd prefer him to come in over Reina.
I'm not a fan of Emi Martinez. That's not a Manchester United goalkeeper, the way he hangs on banging trophies to win the World Cup. Getting in fights with Yerry Mina. I mean, for God's sake. No, Emi Martinez, not for me. Raya, yes. OMONDI was talking about keepers coming up through the lower leagues. I am an enormous fan of keepers that have played lower down because in the Premier League, you don't. I mean, in Sunday League, if you've got a lad on the team that can do a long throw in, it's absolutely brilliant. Everything gets hoisted into the box, and those keepers have got to look after themselves. They've got to get out. They've got to get the ball. Anything in your own half. pump it into the box, get some big men on it. And what we have from like De Gea. Sorry, is Emma still going on?
Yeah, Emma's still going on at you. Emma's still coming at you, man, and I like this comment from her as well.
The analogy is great. Like, Emma, if you think that the buck stops with the owners and the owners are responsible for every single decision taken in the club, from how many HB pencils are ordered to like what the Wi-Fi code is, then that's fine. It's understandable. But in business and in the sort of the real world, it stops with the CEO. Essentially, he's the one that is in charge of the company, and the owners obviously can sort of fire him and stuff like that, which they should have done. But Ed Woodward delivered them the club, so he was part of the hostile takeover, and I think he was the poison pill, to be honest. But it sort of stops with him, and I respect that you think that the owners are responsible for transfers and things like that, but just in the practical sense, they're absolutely not. Like, and they're not responsible for our press being crap, or for De Gea like just booting
leave
the
De Gea
ball
alone. Take De Gea out of your mouth. Come on.
I will take De Gea out of the team. I'll take pretty much any goalkeeper at the moment. I think that leave Emma alone, big T. Like, who cares? Who cares?
Emma is one of the most level-headed people on this.
Yeah, she's quite good. She's good with her comments.
Like, I would definitely take Raya in. I think that he like leads the stats in like collecting crosses and things. If we are going to get rid of Maguire and keep Lindelof,
big up Rich Sports.
Big up Rich. I am going to talk about legs later, Rich. Don't worry. But we had before we did this, we had the takeover, and on Monday nearly killed himself getting angry about it. I'm
not talking about it now. That's it.
that's my say on it. Case closed. I think get Raya in. He can deal with balls. He can deal with balls into the box. That allows you to play Martinez with someone who's not like a commanding centre back. Like Varane is decent in the air, but he's not like a Maguire or something like that. So having that extra man coming out to get the ball makes a lot of difference. 40 million. Absolutely fine. I mean, the Monday's whinging about how much goalkeepers go for.
Aaron Maguire costs 85.
Alisson was a more transformative signing for Liverpool than Van Dijk was. Like, every team looks to replace their goalkeeper when they're moving forward with a different system, and your goalkeeper standards need to be much higher. Okay. Like, I'd love to know what I should be looking at. I know nothing about goalkeeping, to be perfectly honest. But what I want is a keeper that has like standard Premier League shot stopping, who can pass the ball on both feet, who can let us play out a trap, who is able to kick the ball accurately. But for what we have, the two most important things, we need someone who can collect crosses and someone who is comfortable at passing the ball out of defence. That's what we need.
Be careful what we wish for, guys, because remember Barthez. All I got to say is the Barthez. We moaned about Bosnich. Bosnich left. Weren't good enough, and then all of a sudden, we got a few keepers. It would take a few years for us, I think, to get the right goalkeeper.
Are you supporting De Gea? Do you still want? Do you want De Gea next season? I still think
De Gea. What I believe is, I think De Gea is probably still the best shot stopper in the Premier League. I believe so.
He's demonstrably not.
And also for me, with it, if we get a goalkeeper coming in who can push De Gea for that number one spot, to be in transition to take the number one spot of De Gea, then I'm more than happy. With De Gea long term, he's not the solution for Manchester United. But at the moment, I look at it, De Gea is not the issue at Manchester United. There's a bigger part to fill.
I've got magic beans for you, Solo. Like, if you want to, I've got a lot of investment schemes, pyramid shaped, that I could get you in if you think that De Gea isn't a problem and is a really good shot stopper. What did you see the FA Cup final?
I did, but
amazing
again-
shot stop. Amazing.
But again, yeah, okay. So you guys are going back to the FA Cup. So we've had
That was
two
the last
shots.
game we played.
Yeah, but 2 shots in the whole game. You can't blame De Gea for having 2 shots in the whole game.
Of course I can.
You
Did you
see
see how
the
many
video
times he
game?
booted it?
Do you see against
Pardon?
Villa?
Sevilla, no, you can't blame De Gea, but Sevilla. Come on, Monday, man. Harry Maguire was playing. You can't do that.
Have you seen some of the 7 goals that they scored against us?
Okay, and do you see about Harry Maguire?
Harry Maguire didn't make De Gea run out of his box and miss the ball.
Yeah.
Like,
But Harry Maguire.
I
was
mean, in
accountable
the
for
cup,
Go on.
in the cup final, Solo, we booted the ball non-stop up the pitch to Rashford, like because De Gea can't play football. Like, I don't know. Like you say, he did 2 shots on target, but we can't get the ball up the pitch to shoot because we've got a big muffin in goal.
Can I ask a question then? If everyone's saying about De Gea, obviously I watched a bit of the cup. I didn't watch all of it because I was at work. So if we sitting there talking about it, I watch most highlights. I'm going to ask a question. Where was Rashford? Where was Sancho? Where was Eriksen? Big game player. Where's Bruno Fernandes? Because everyone seems to blame De Gea for everything, but De Gea wasn't the whole 11 player on the pitch, was he?
No, but it starts from De Gea. We build up from the back. Who is the person at the back? It's De Gea. What is he doing? He is playing trench warfare, launching ballistas up the pitch to Rashford and Sancho and Eriksen. So what you should be saying, right, is you should be putting this on Ten Hag and saying, where is Weghorst? Where is McTominay? Because if we're playing big lads up the pitch...
Well, hold on 1 second, boss time.
So is that what you're saying?
When I did my team here, I wanted Scott to start, and everyone laughed at me. I wanted Weghorst to start. Everyone laughed at me.
Why? Did you want him to start because this long ball from De Gea? Like kick it out, one of them balls.
No. It's not because of that. It's because I know for a fact, in some aspect, that basically Gogolin would have got a boot up the arse by Scott at some point, and he'll stop playing football.
Yeah, but we're talking about De Gea and goalkeeping.
Yeah.
So you're.
But I'm trying.
Yeah,
no, but I'm saying that's the reason I would.
Said you're bringing McTominay and Weghorst in your team. You would have started them because we're talking about goalkeeping and bringing the ball out. So
but what thing you were saying? No, but what Baltham was saying, he would have started them players. That's what he said. So then I said yes, I did have them in my predicted 11.
But do you think? But we were saying prior to that, before that, we were saying that Baltham was saying that he was just lumping the ball every time because he can't play out from the back. So is that? So are you playing Weghorst and McTominay because he's saying they're playing balls to Rashford? You can't expect him to win balls against big giant centre backs. But maybe Weghorst and McTominay, is that what you're saying? Maybe Weghorst and McTominay should be the team to help us win balls like that, first and second balls.
Well, second balls and stuff, because we don't win nothing. First and second balls in midfield anyway. We don't win anything whatsoever. But for me, is where everyone's coming out. My thing is if we went on, we lost the game. But if we went on and we won that cup game, everyone will be saying, "Oh yeah, we praise the players." But De Gea, all right, the first goal, I don't think De Gea could do anything with that. That's my opinion. The second goal, possibility he could have.
Can I just jump in on this? I believe Bartham's right. What you're saying about De Gea, we're missing the whole dimension of play, and I think we lost 2-1. We still had chances, but if we were able to play out from the back with a goalkeeper that can play out from the back, whether it's Raya or whoever these goalkeepers are on the market that can do this, I'm sure people know who they are. Then we would be more in the game. You said earlier about closing the gap to City. I think that's a big thing. I think, as we said earlier, we have to take these conversations back because we're jumping from one thing to the other. Let's stay on track here. We said earlier, closing the gap. Then we're talking about De Gea, how important it is, and do we get another keeper in? Ray is available, and we're discussing why Ray would be suitable over De Gea. You said De Gea is a good shot stopper. Apparently, according to data from Mr. B yesterday, he's not a great shot stopper in the league. You know, he might make the odd save here and there, but most keepers do. You're supposed to do that. You know, but there's other areas of the game which is really lacking. So I think the main thing that we've discovered this season, and well, it's been going on for a while now, he can't kick the ball, he can't distribute the ball, and we can't play out from the back, which means we're having to lump it against a team like City, who would just eat out the ball again, and then we're on the back foot over and over again. But regardless of all that, we still had opportunities to win the game. So I just think when you talk about closing the gap, get a good keeper in. It's vital. It's just as vital as getting a good striker in. get a good keeper in who can do these things, and we might see something different next season, and we won't be lumped in every 5
Can
minutes.
I ask a question on Monday and bath time? If Man United only had, say, £50 million to spend this season, £50 million, where would you spend that £50 million?
Goalkeeper.
Straight it's goal or striker for me. It's got to be one of the two, because we need to finish our chances, and we need to be add that dimension to our play out from the back. So I think it's true. Those two positions are key.
No, but you got to pick one, not two. Huh? You got one. You got 40 million or 50 million.
It'd be striker or goalkeeper. He said goalie. I'd say striker then, just to balance out. But it's one of those two positions. By the way, I heard today that De Gea, there's a contract on the table for De Gea. Which probably
it's going to be. He's going to sign a new contract. I believe he'll sign it, and it's a pay cut.
I think it's the other way round. I believe that De Gea has signed the contract, and the club haven't signed it.
God.
Well, that's my understanding of it. But I think you've been done here, Solo, and you're wrong. And I think you should apologise to us and read some comments.
I'm not wrong. I'm not. No way. I'm apologising. You lot absolutely annihilate Fred and De Gea. I'm not having that. Let's talk about the man himself then, and let's talk about Harry Maguire, Manchester United. Possibility. There's rumours of him going to Chelsea in some sort of dealing with Mason Mount and this whole thing where he might then end up staying at Manchester United to get his loyalty bonus. Bath time.
What do you want? What's the question? You've just
so the question is obviously Man United made Champions League, and the rumor is because Man United made Champions League, he's entitled to about, I think, is it 10 million in loyalty bonuses.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than leaving Manchester United, he'd rather get that 10 million and wherever sit on the bench because Kim's coming in at the moment, so that would put him down to like fifth choice goalkeeper. Fifth choice centre back.
Mm-hmm.
So
I just don't believe that's true. I think that whenever we sort of talk about Maguire, people get very sort of heated, and I hear things about he can only play in a back three and that defending is essentially just a race and all this kind of stuff. But I don't think that Maguire will be staying for 10 million in his contract. And I think it's really unfair to sort of report that. When you brought up De Gea, you were talking about how we need to get someone in to push him or whatever, which kind of implies, or at least has inferred, that De Gea isn't trying hard enough. Maguire is like an employee of the club. He is an asset, so he can be sold and transferred. And he probably doesn't want to give up on the dream. He was a hell of a lot better. Whatever you think of Martinez and Varane, they did not perform to the same standards that Lindelof and Maguire did a couple of years ago, playing a far higher line than we play now. Maguire probably thinks that if we can get a new goalkeeper in, he can get his way back into that team. And I think that painting it as greed is a bit disingenuous, Solo. So I'm going to add that to the list of things that you need to say sorry for.
Well, listen, bath time, I'm just reporting what I'm seeing. I'm just, I don't make these things up. I'm only reporting what I've seen. And that's all I do. I don't really and truly, I'm listening and hearing what people are saying, and I'm feeding it here.
So, just to add to that, I just think the news came out today about Harry Maguire, and there's outrage because he wants to dig his heels in. Apparently, he doesn't want to leave. And I don't know how true the stories are, but he's saying he wants to stay and fight for his place. What does that say about the man? The man should leave to get England first team football.
Oh no, he'll get England football no matter what happens because Graham Southgate's a fraud.
Well, we don't know because Southgate's changed his tune recently with his comments, and so you're thinking, well, if he leaves and gets first team football at a lesser club, he could get a championship with England next season, maybe. But what is the measure of the man to say, I want to stay and fight for my place and maybe prove people wrong? That suggests to me that he's got a lot about him mentally. He's been through hell. I'll tell you why. He's been through hell. He's been abused, okay? He gets backlash. He gets abuse from the fans. He gets abuse from his own fans. Every podcast out there, there's someone on the show that's dissing him.
You don't. You don't.
Well, I'm saying not me, but so he has to deal with that. The fan abuse. He has to deal with media abuse as well. His name is soiled right now, And for him to, and the thing that happened abroad when outside of football, some police issue as well, he's had a lot to deal with over the last few years. But he remains captain. He stayed at the club, and he comes on. He doesn't complain. He does his job and wants to achieve something. And that suggests to me, and then people were moaning about his interviews, saying he's too arrogant because he was talking too confidently about certain things. Can't remember the quote, but someone could remind me what the quote was. But everyone was outraged by his quotes by saying something what I felt was quite confident. I think the man's got thick skin, and I think the man wants to do better. And I like people that want to prove something. You got guys like Donny van der Beek who are happy to sit on the bench, it seems, and doesn't have that drive in him to really prove something, and can go on loan like he did, And I think Harry Maguire is a different kettle of fish. I like the guy because he's got mental powers where he can get through this and try to come.
Mystic Mig now.
He's got a good mentality because with all the abuse, he stood up and took a penalty in the Euros finals. And imagine what would have happened to him if we would have missed that and we would have gone out. Stuart Pearce, Gareth Southgate, that would just be history. It would all be Maguire. He'd begin to do pizza adverts and all that kind of thing. I do think Harry Maguire has got something about him that makes him want to stay. People have to read the story, not get outraged. Say, actually, this guy's stubborn and he's hard-headed, and he is certainly hard-headed. He's got a cranium still, but he's got something about him that makes him want to stay at the club. You have to applaud that sometimes.
But before we go on to some of the comments, OMONDI, if you sat there to me, or if you sat there to me and said to me, right, Man United, Woodlands just made some cup competition, and what they're going to do is they want to get rid of you at the end of the season, and you could go to, I don't know, Stanmore Manor FC, but if you stay at Woodlands you're going to get extra bonus and things like that. I'm pretty certain you would come out and say, you know what, I'm going to stay here and fight for my place. Any normal human being would.
You know me, I'm a winner in life, and I've got a good mentality. I will try to achieve things. Even when I've been on my face, I'd still stand up every day, get up and try to do better myself. And that's what I like about Maguire. And that's what I like about any man out there. No matter how poor you are, whatever, try your best. Try to be the best that you can be.
Yeah. Bath time, you like this comment as well. Kay Slater, we're having a conversation early in a WhatsApp group.
Okay. I'm a big fan of Phil Jones, and I feel that he's had similar treatment to Maguire, which is that people who I don't think play a lot of football and don't really understand how a football match works, just sit there and slate them when they should be reporting them. And it was this
I'm with you with that, with Phil Jones. I do rate Phil Jones. I've said it many times, just like Tyrone Mings. I think Tyrone Mings is a fantastic player, but I get slated.
No. You're in the same club with me. Tyrone Mings is a very good player and would be an excellent signing for Manchester United as a squad player.
But
left-footed, strong centre back. Come on, Monday. I see those little tics when we talk about Tyrone Mings. What does Tyrone Mings have to do for you to think he's worth having in the squad?
I just felt that we've had this argument before. We've bumped heads over this before bath time, and I just felt that Tyrone Mings is a former left back, got himself playing centre back. There's not many great centre backs, English centre backs in the league at the moment. That's why he's in contention with Cody, whatever his name is. Also, I don't rate too highly. I think what he does really well, which fools a lot of people, he points a lot. Like captain and do that. And he's a bit dirty. He's big and strong. He's athletically good and all that, but he makes a lot of mistakes. And I think when we're really gauging, there's a time when we had so many good left backs at England. There's a time when we had so many strikers in the 90s for England. At the moment, I think we're lacking at centre back. It's because Tyrone Mings and Cody, whatever his name is, are guys that are in contention to play for England at centre back.
And yet England have done better.
Huh?
And yet England have performed better than in any of those eras.
Thanks, Harry Maguire. But I don't.
Nice.
Nice. I would love it. I'd say this now. I like Kevin Keegan. I would love to be proven wrong. I don't mind being proven wrong because you proved me wrong about Nathan Ake. I said the same negative thing about Nathan Ake, and he has turned it around and proved.
Nathan Ake is brilliant. I loved him at Bournemouth.
I'm still waiting for this Tyrone Mings thing to progress. Where
look at Villa.
He's a good player. I don't
Look at
see.
Villa. Look what they did when they put him back in the team.
Good coach.
Like,
that's all you need.
Tyrone Mings is a good player. Like, and he absolutely destroyed us in the Ragnick year, building up from the back solo, which is why building up from the back is important, and you should be far more critical of that goalkeeper.
Okay, we'll think about it. You made a good point. Amanda, would you mind going through some of these bits and pieces for us, because there's a lot of comments.
Stop
out
right
there.
there. Stop right there. I want to say hi to across the pond. He says Tomori is the best English Canadian centre back,
and get not even a chance.
Well, he's trying to just say that there are more centre backs out there, but not being overlooked. Case later saying it's time for England to start playing Tomori again. So both two people, and saying here again, Southgate screwed Tomori. Could have been starting for Canada at the World Cup. I didn't know he's Canadian. Emma's saying here, I'm all for players willing to stay and work for first team place, but when you're 28, 29, it's time to look elsewhere when the manager doesn't fancy you. So that's about, obviously, Harry Maguire. Big up to Flex Felix. He said Maguire can stay as he's homegrown. Otherwise, we only have 4 homegrown players in the first team, assuming Greenwood, McTominay, Heaton, Henderson, Elanga, Tunzebi, and Williams.
Henderson is gone, isn't he? I think Henderson's signed a contract or about to sign 25 million to Forest. 5 million add-on, I believe.
Okay. Miko, how you doing? Give him a wave, guys. I haven't seen you for a while, Miko. You've been neglecting us. He says he's had more than one time. He's had more than one time in interviews where he's thrown the team under the bus. What is it he said? I don't know what he's talking about.
I know against Watford, when the game where we were at Watford, he did the interview. What he did, I thought he threw everyone under the bus, and it's almost like he didn't take any responsibility. That's the only one I can sit there and honestly say. After that, I think most of the interviews after that was Luke Shaw who did most interviews afterwards.
Barthan, do you want to respond to this from King Dino saying, "On what planet did we play a high line 2-3 years ago?"
Like, look, we played it on this planet, flat or round. It doesn't matter. It was this. It was this planet.
Sorry.
And I don't like just go and look it up. It's quite a common thing. What I can say is that I think we played the 4th lowest line in the league this year with Varane and Martinez, and I think we played the 4th highest line with Lindelof and Maguire, and ended up conceding less goals. Okay. And that tells you a lot about the fact that they had De Gea and we had Henderson at that, and Maguire and Lindelof had Henderson behind them. So it's not about them being better or worse players. It's about the goalkeeper.
Finally, across the pond saying that Palestri guy you guys have. What's the deal with the Uruguayan? And King Dino saying, nah, we sat deep and countered attacked. So yeah, a lot of bumping heads on the show this week. Emma. We went to sort of back and forth for Emma, and I think King Dino as well, having a little disagreement here about playing a high line a couple of years ago. But this is what football's about, guys. This is what we love.
Opinions, and that's about the money agenda. It's all about opinion, guys. And we've been going a little bit longer than we expected. So bath time, sir. Thank you as always for being on. And I believe you guys doing some more series that's coming up sooner or later. You guys need to keep an eye out for.
Yes, I think so. Me and OMONDI do podcasts interviewing semi-professional footballers about things like high lines, training, corners, yeah, goalkeepers, yeah, everything, emceeing in America, like all these sort of things that we talk about. So it's more like football orientated. It's not about like transfers and takeovers and things like that. It's actually about football from people who play and live football, and I really enjoy it, and that's the most important thing.
Just to add to that as well, I think, guys, go and check it out. If you haven't seen the shows, we've interviewed 2 guys so far, real good quality. If you're at the gym, put them in your earpods and listen to it. You don't need to watch it, just listen to it. It's a good insight into the life of footballers and what they have to go through, and the mentality of the footballers as well. And I really enjoy them. I've watched them over and over again just to say, yeah, this is good interviews. Just like you have these other channels doing interviews. The Man United agenda don't just stick to Man United. We stick to football-related issues as well. So big up to Bath Time. Big up to me for making some good content.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I've got to admit it. Yeah, it's so nice being back on with you guys, because it's been such a long time in the making. Sort of, I finished my studying a couple of weeks ago, but I am still continuously with my studying, because once you're in a routine, you just got to keep going within the routine. Otherwise, you lose focus again, and I can't lose focus. But I will be back on again with you guys, because, as I said, love coming on with you guys, and some of the comments tonight, absolutely amazing. And guys, like we always say, we love it when you take your time out to join us and get involved in the conversation as well. But quick one, guys, before we go. City or Inter?
They could change their name to Outer. It's not going to make a difference. City are going to win.
I don't know, man. I just don't want to.
I'm going to tune into it. I think City's best chance is to try to stifle them the best way I can. But a lot of times, people sides have tried to do that and failed. But with the Italians, you just never know. It could be dirty tactics, could be a dodgy ref. Again, it could be paying someone off. Inter will go ahead of us. They've got 3 Champions Leagues at the moment, and they will go ahead of us on 4 if they win tomorrow. But I still don't want Man City to win 1 their first. I think it'll be a good game, though. Good tactical game. It'll be really interesting to see how Inter set up. That's the main thing for me. What are they going to do? I know they play 5 at the back. We don't see that often in the Premier League so much. There's not many good 5 at the back teams. So I'll be interested to see tactically how it fares tomorrow, and it's going to be a good game. So yeah, let's enjoy it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a 1-1, and you know what? I watched a interview with Lukaku the other day, and literally the amount of abuse that young man suffer, and I know it's sentimental, and I'm always like that. I'm always sort of like, I want the underdog always to do well, and just because I saw that interview, I just desperately want him to win that trophy, just because of the amount of abuse he suffered being a Man United player, Chelsea player, even even at Milan, he suffered all that racism and abuse and everything. I just hope Inter
keep that energy for Maguire. Like, he's actually a player of ours.
I keep that energy for Fred, because he's another one who get absolutely destroyed.
Everyone loves Fred.
No,
he's just not very
Mr.
good.
Mr. B
at
don't like him. Mr. B don't like him.
Mr. B just likes milk and other things. That's what he likes.
Oh, look, FC United in the building as well. She's up. Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, twice. He was in the chat early as well, dropping some nice gem early in the show as well. But guys, listen, from us at the agenda, would love to say, really appreciate all your help, all your support and everything. We'll be back on Monday night at 8:30 p.m. And from us, have a lovely evening, and thank you all for liking, sharing, subscribing, and also contributing to the channel as well. From us, good night.
Good night.